Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into something, well, kind of different. We're looking at Zen Den.
Zen Den.
Yeah. So it's this YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
But instead of like, I don't know, the usual stuff, they use animation to share these like really positive messages and life lessons and things. And get this, it's actually working. Like people love it.
It is fascinating, isn't it? You kind of think with everything going on, like all the craziness and how fast everything is these days, that something so simple, I mean, come on, animated stories.
Yeah.
Wouldn't really stand a chance. But the thing is, Zen Den, it taps into something we all share.
What's that?
Loneliness,
Yeah.
Generosity, wanting to be kind, wanting kindness. It's like,
yeah.
We all get it. We've been there. It's universal, these experiences,
It's so true. Like there's this one story they have about this guy. He just feels invisible with his friends, his girlfriend, everyone. He's like, hey, can you help me with this? And they're all, oh, I'm busy.
Oh, I know that feeling.
He's just like blending into the background.
It's the worst. That feeling of like being invisible, even when you're surrounded by people who are supposed to care,
Exactly.
And that's what Zen Den does so well.
Yeah.
They take these everyday things, stuff we all deal with, and then boom, they hit you with these deeper ideas like self-worth.
Right. So this guy, he ends up at a restaurant, feeling kind of down.
By himself.
Totally alone. And he meets this woman, and she just kind of lays it out for him. She says, why waste your time on people who don't give you the time of day?
She's right. You have to recognize your own value, like set some boundaries. You can't, I don't know if you've heard this one, but you can't pour from an empty cup.
Ooh, I like that.
It's about prioritizing yourself. And it's not selfish. It's actually essential if you want to be there for others in a real way.
Totally. It's like you had to fill your own cup first, and then you can share with others.
Exactly. And that might mean, sometimes you have to take a step back and look at your relationships, see if they're really giving you what you need.
Yeah.
Are you giving too much? Are they taking too much?
And are they even there for you in the first place?
Exactly.
Speaking of giving and taking, there's this other Zen Den story that really stuck with me. It's about this wealthy family.
Okay.
And they ask their neighbors for a favor.
What's the favor?
Salt.
Salt. Really? Why would a wealthy family need to ask their neighbors for something as simple as salt?
Right. It seems kind of strange, but it's the mom's explanation to her daughter that makes you think. She says by asking for something small, something they don't even really need, they're acknowledging their neighbors.
Oh, that's interesting.
They're creating a space where everyone feels comfortable both asking for help and offering.
It's about maintaining that balance.
Exactly.
And dignity. It's saying we're all part of this community, regardless of, economic differences or anything like that. It's recognizing that we all need each other in different ways.
We do.
Yeah.
And it's like they're saying true connection. It's not about keeping score. It's about generosity, about just understanding each other.
I like that.
And this whole idea of small acts of kindness, that they can have a much bigger impact. It comes up a lot in Zen Den's work.
Oh, absolutely. And they show it so well, like with that story about the job interview, right?
Yeah.
Where one of the guys, he just does this small act of kindness, and it ends up, well...
That changes everything.
Yeah.
John and Matt, they're both on their way to this big job interview.
Okay.
And they see this older woman. She's struggling with her bags,
Yeah.
And Matt, he stops to help her.
Even though he has the interview.
He might be late. And then guess what?
Don't tell me. She ends up working there.
She's the HR director.
Wow.
It's like that classic thing, right? What goes around comes around. But with Zen Den, it's not just about that. It's about something more.
It's deeper, yeah. It's like this, like we all want to connect and be a part of something bigger than ourselves, And helping others, that's a part of that.
It is. Like they're reminding us we all have that power to make things a little better.
Yeah.
Even with the smallest gesture.
Even just smiling at someone on the street,
Totally.
It really is. It's not even like about karma or anything. It's like Zen Den's tapping into something. Like I said, we want to be connected, part of something bigger, right? And helping other people. That's a part of that.
It is. It's like a reminder that we can all make a difference.
Exactly.
Even if it's just a little one,
And they're not afraid to show the other side of that too.
What do you mean?
Like the bad stuff, greed, only caring about money and things. They have that story about King Midas.
Oh, yeah. Midas. Classic story, right? Yeah. Everything he touches turns to gold.
You'd think it was great, right?
Totally.
But then he tries to hug his daughter. It's really powerful. It's like it's showing how wanting too much, it can actually cost you the things you really care about.
It's so true. You get so caught up in wanting more, 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 and you forget about, I don't know, the simple things.
Connection, love, just being close to people.
Exactly. And that's real happiness, isn't it? Not all the stuff you can buy.
Which, let's be honest, that's not really the message you get a lot these days, is it? With all the ads and everything.
No kidding. Buy this, buy that. It's refreshing to see someone saying, hey, maybe there's more to life.
Right. And they do it in this way. It's like, it's not preachy. It's still really engaging, you know?
Totally. They're like these ancient stories, but they feel new.
Exactly.
And they're not afraid to experiment with how they tell the stories either.
Oh, yeah. They do a lot of different
Remember that one with the little girl at the beach? She's collecting those stones, those shiny stones.
Oh, right. And she's so proud of them. And then
she realizes she's happier giving them away.
It's such a simple thing, but it hits you right here.
Right, in the feels.
Yeah. And it makes you think, you know, what are those shiny stones for us? What are we holding on to that we could be sharing with someone else?
That's deep.
It's about shifting your perspective, you know, like from what can I get to what can I give?
I love that. It's so needed, especially now.
Right. When everything feels so competitive, so divided.
Totally. It's like we're all in this together.
Exactly.
And it's not all serious, you know. Zen Den, they can be really funny too.
Oh, yeah. They use humor really well.
Like there's that one about the stingy guy. He wants to take all his money with him when he dies.
Oh, that one cracks me up every time. What's his wife going to do?
Right. And she's just like, okay, fine. Writes him a check.
Brilliant.
It's such a funny image, but it also makes you think, right?
Totally.
Like, what's the point of clinging to all that stuff?
Even at the very end, you know?
Exactly. Zen, then they're like, lighten up. Don't take it all so seriously.
Exactly. I mean, life is absurd, right? We should be able to laugh at that.
Totally. And you know what else I love about them?
What's that?
They're not afraid to talk about the big stuff. You know?
The big stuff. Like what?
Like enlightenment, the search for meaning, all that.
Yeah.
But they do it in a way that anyone can understand.
Right. It's not intimidating. It's
inviting.
Yeah, inviting. Like that one they did with Siddhartha.
Yes. His journey to become, you know, the Buddha.
It could have been so complicated, but they get it.
They make it make sense.
They're such good storytellers, you know? Sometimes the simplest way is the best way, especially when you're dealing with these really profound ideas.
Exactly. And these are questions we all ask ourselves, right?
All the time. What's the meaning of life? Why are we here? How can I find peace when everything's so crazy?
It really is. And it's not, you know, it's not just about like Eastern philosophy or anything like that.
Right.
It's, you know, kindness, being grateful, remembering how important other people are.
It's universal, right? Like no matter who you are, where you come from, we all want the same things, don't we? Connection, meaning a little peace and quiet and all this noise.
Totally. And Zen Den, they give you that.
They do.
Those little moments, like when you read a good quote, you know?
Yes.
Or you see some amazing piece of art.
Yes. And you think, yes, that's it. I knew that, but I needed to hear it.
Exactly.
Like a little reminder.
Zen Den reminds us that those moments, those little sparks, they're everywhere. You just have to be open to them.
I like that. Be open to it.
Which, speaking of being open, reminds me of that story with the family who find, you know.
Oh, you mean the one where they find all that gold?
Yeah. The Australian family out walking their dog and boom.
Just stumbled right upon it.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time.
Right. But it makes you think, right?
It does.
We get so caught up, you know, in our own heads with our own stuff that we forget to just like be present.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like you never know what's out there, what you might find or who you might meet.
Exactly.
Unless you get out there and actually experience it.
Yeah. And it's not always, you know, it's not always about finding a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow.
It's true.
It's those little moments, the connections, just enjoying life as it happens.
Exactly. Even if your biggest adventure that day is like taking the dog for a walk, you know?
Exactly. And Zen Den, they remind you of that. They make you slow down, think for a minute, you know, reconnect with yourself, with the world.
Like finding a quiet space in all the chaos.
Yes.
A place where you can just breathe.
And in this day and age, with everything being online and everyone moving so fast, that's more important than ever.
It really is.
Zen Den reminds us that it's the simple things, you know, the stories, the connections, that's where the real meaning is.
It's true. Sometimes the simplest things are also the most powerful.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, if you ever find yourself, you know, scrolling through your phone, feeling kind of lost.
Lost in the feed.
Totally. Take a break, take a breath, and maybe check out Zen Den. See what stories are waiting for you.
You might be surprised what you find.
You just might.